So being able to convert between different units is going to be a very valuable skill to have on the SAT. Um, and there's different ways to answer this question. You can answer this question in about 5 seconds. You can also answer it in a longer way with unit conversion. I'm going to show the longer way first. So when it comes to unit conversion, every single time you see what I call a conversion factor, which is they kind of give you what is that translation between one unit to the other. And then there is this very interesting word that shows up every time, which is per. So anytime you see the word per, guess what operation you're looking at here. And if you answered division, you would be correct. So per literally means division. So for these, and it's helpful to kind of, well, you can't underline on the digital SAT, but if you're working on paper, feel free to underline your conversion factors. And then for every conversion factor, I would encourage you to write it down as a fraction. So 1 unit on top, you have the per, and then the other unit on the bottom. Over here you would have $4 with your per as your division, and then your other unit on the bottom. Feel free to make short forms of your units so they're easier to transcribe. Over here, we're trying to figure out how many fewer miles we need to drive in order to reduce the gasoline cost by $5. So if you look at these options available to you, essentially we want to start off with our miles, do some kind of adjustment to the miles in order to get to our result, which is $5. So here you would start off with whatever unit you're starting off on the left side. So here we have miles. And then we have to figure out whether we're multiplying these conversion factors the right way up or the flipped version. So if we're trying to get from miles all the way to dollars, $5 being our intended result, how can we get there? So if you look at the way these guys are set up, the way these work is because this is actually equivalent to this. When you're multiplying any quantity by one of these factors, you're effectively multiplying by 1, because if you have the same quantity on the top as on the bottom of every fraction, you're literally multiplying by 1. So that's how you can get out of certain units and into other units without changing the value of your initial quantity. And the way you do that is you multiply it so that the same unit that is on top can be canceled out with whichever unit is on the bottom. So here with miles, if you want to get out of miles, then what we want to do is multiply this way, flipped, like this, so that we have miles on top and miles on the bottom so that we can cancel it out. After we cancel out miles, though, we're going to be in gallons. So in order to cancel out gallons in the same fashion, we're going to put gallons on the bottom and dollars on top. So in total, feel free to do the cross outs just to make sure everything is crossed out and we are left with what we want. So here effectively, what have we done? We have done 4/25 times m, which is going to be this answer choice right here because we want to end up with 5 and not 95. Now that was a pretty long way to do it. If you want to do it in a little bit less time, you can kind of just work your way backwards. So here, if we're looking for 5, we really should be crossing out the 95s. And then once you're in your round 2, you can feel free to eliminate everything that's the same. And in fact, the only decision we're left to make here is whether the answer is going to be 25/4 times m or 4/25 times m. So not sure if you're a driver yet, but if you go to the gas station and purchase $5 worth of gas, are you going to be only able to drive 5 miles? So the answer to that is no. If you pay $5, you're going to be able to drive a lot longer than 5 miles. So what you want to do to the miles number is you want to reduce it in order to get to your 5. So making this the only possible answer.